بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. So my name is Ahmed. My family are originally from Egypt, but I was born and grew up in the UK. More recently I live in Gibraltar, where I work there as a doctor full time. I grew up in just a traditional Muslim household, practicing praying 5 times a day, but there wasn't much discussion with regards to Sufism or following a Sufi path, and it's not something that I really thought about. Obviously I always took religion quite seriously and always tried to educate myself as much as I can. It was only really last year when I started reading material written by traditionalist authors in the last 100 years, who they sort of emphasize the importance of the process of initiation and the sort of centrality of initiation into actually achieving sort of nearness to God and enlightenment, and obviously sort of part of that initiation is finding a shaykh, someone who you physically take an oath or a pact with in order to facilitate that process of enlightenment. So I became really attached, or I've engaged with those sort of ideas, and I had a friend who was doing some research about branches of the Shadhili Tariqa in this part of the world, so North Africa, and he came across the Tariqa al-Karkari, especially through their, obviously the online presence is quite good, so there's lots of videos from people who've come across the Tariqa, and so I remember watching one of those videos about someone who also came across the Karkari via sort of the traditionalist path, and he talked about his experience about seeing the light. So it was quite interesting. It all seemed very legitimate, and I think first thing I did was to buy one of the books that Sidi Shaykh has written. This one's titled Introduction to Islamic Metaphysics, and it's a translation of something that he wrote in Arabic. And I remember I took this book with me. I was flying on holiday, and I just started reading it, and I just couldn't stop reading it, because everything that was written sounded it sounded very very true, and it corresponded very well with the sort of other stuff that I'd been reading around that time as well. And it was actually that same night when I arrived, I remember I had my first dream, which involved Sidi Shaykh. I think I'd seen a video of him once, but obviously it was the first time had not thought about him in that way before. But in the dream, he's there, sort of next to me, making dua. So obviously that encouraged me with regards to continuing sort of reflecting on the path. And so obviously I continued to consume other material via YouTube, and also the English language podcast that's available online as well. And the more I found out, the more it seemed to correspond exactly with what I would expect from a sort of valid Sufi path. And the first opportunity, very obviously, before you, the advice is that before you come to give your bay'ah, you should do the wird, which is that's essentially the pact that you're making, so that you, when you make the pact, you're saying, I will hold fast to doing the wird, which is a morning and evening litany, for the rest of your life. And in return, the Shaykh is there to grant you the light, and also to facilitate your sort of spiritual journey. So in advance, you should try to do the wird as practice to make sure that you have the commitment for 40 days. So I did that, and I came around, basically visited this area sort of middle or towards the end of Ramadan, but I didn't stay very long, and I had a couple of, whilst I was very sort of sure about the tariq, I was a bit unsure about myself and whether I was ready or if I had the sort of kind of himma or motivation to go through with the bay'ah. So I didn't give the bay'ah at that time. I thought the Sidi Shaykh sort of advised that it's best to reflect more before you take the bay'ah. The kind of people who come to take bay'ah are very, they're really looking for sort of answers to questions that they're looking for answers to questions they've had for a long time, and so they're quite committed. But I think even as I was leaving, I was already thinking, I was already having some regrets as to not giving the bay'ah at that moment, and so I spent the last few months thinking I need to come as soon as I can, and this was the first opportunity I had to come, and I gave the bay'ah on the second day I was here. In terms of the process of giving the bay'ah, it's very simple. You just sit in front of Sidi Shaykh, and he holds your hand, and he asks you to recite the istighfar, which is the seeking forgiveness from God, and he recites some prayers. He recites the Quranic ayah, which is about the pact that the companions gave to the Prophet ﷺ. And then he recites some du'as, and then he asks you about what you can see and tries to help you on the initial sort of witnessing of the light. So for myself, my vision was mostly just what you could describe as sort of clouds of light, and they were sort of moving in and out of the picture, and obviously Sidi Shaykh tries to asks you to try to. It all comes down to your degree of concentration and your ability to kind of focus, and after you've done the bay'ah, he encourages you to take some time and to do some more istighfar on your own, to try to again just solidify the vision of the light, which is what I did, and since then I can say that the vision is one more time. I've had one more time where it's been sort of in that kind of cloud formation. So and obviously my time spent here in this area has been incredible. I mean, everyone is very welcoming. People here speak several languages. You can always get by in terms of communicating with the other murids. Pretty much everything is accommodated for, everything that you need in terms of food, in terms of places to sleep. So it's very it's comfortable, and you're well looked after when you're here. So my plan is to stay for another few days, and then obviously go back. I'll be going back to the UK and just continuing with obviously once you've done the pact, you're obviously have to continue with doing the wird morning and evening, and then you can have connection with the Shaykh through questions that you send in and things like that. So one of the other things that it's quite important to do before you come, if you're thinking about coming to the Zawiya to give bay'ah, is the Salat al-Istikhara, which is is a prayer, 2 cycles of prayer that you do to when you're looking for guidance on a particular issue. So you pray it with the intention that God gives you a sign with which you can know if the issue that you're contemplating is which way you should go. So that's a requirement before you come. So for me that was quite helpful actually, because after I did my Salat al-Istikhara I did have a dream which I took to be a sort of positive sign, and so I would advise people to do that if they have any thoughts or any doubts if whether this is for them. No one's everything is proven through personal experience, so this is not something that you need to believe without sort of proof. So whether that be a dream after Salat al-Istikhara, or whether that's by seeing the light when you give the bay'ah, that's all you really need if you are having sort of doubts about the path.